Yeah, this is my first time hosting a Substack live, so we're excited, but we also don't know what's happening. But officially, welcome to everyone to the Regenerative Women podcast live. I am your host, Pukhraj, the founder, leadership coach, and the voice behind Regenerative Women. Um, I'm going to in my head, these are all living conversations between me and you. My hope is that if you're joining, you consider yourself a purpose led founder, a change maker who is building a life of both fulfillment and freedom. And this entire space on Substack is dedicated to exploring a new way of living and leading, one where we look at Mother Earth as a mentor. We draw from indigenous wisdom traditions, especially Vedanta, which is my ancestral philosophy, and reflect on how we as women can reclaim our feminine power, our inner feminine power. And not just for ourselves, but to truly steward life and community and our planet. And today's episode is actually a Substack live conversation between me as part of my new Unfiltered Founder series. And our guest today is Sophie Jane Hardy. So, Sophie, welcome.
Thanks so much for having me.
I would love to introduce a little bit about, you, who you are, but also how I know you. So I'm going to just read your bio so I don't miss anything. But Sophie is a business strategist and coach, a writer, and a podcast host whose work reconnects business, creativity, and leadership to the body, to the earth, and the intelligence of the natural world. Her career began with the feminist and environmental filmmaking. She co-founded a women's health network and helped build a reforestation charity called Tree Sisters. She then worked alongside world-class marketing teams supporting visionary leaders and has since devoted the last decade to helping hundreds of people shape sustainable businesses that honor both purpose and profit. Everything I love and I resonate with. And also, just from a personal point of view, when I was going through some fertility challenges myself, I found the Red School and I started listening to the Menstruality podcast. And Sophie is a host in that and a producer, I guess, in that podcast. And I remember one of the episodes, Alexandra, like, twisted the whole conversation and started asking you questions. And I was like, whoa, I need to figure out who this Sophie is and what brought her to this world. And I've been following your work because of that for the last, I think, 3-4 years. And now that I'm in this new world myself, I thought I would invite you. So thank you again for joining me and having this conversation with our community. And I hope the introduction also sets the stage of who is listening. These are, purpose-led women, founders, many with big dreams to make the world a better place. And yet there's just so much that, comes in our way in this journey. So how I want to start, Sophie, today is just maybe hearing a little bit about how you got started in your founder journey. Like, how did you decide to not be an employee somewhere, but chart your own path?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I realised actually when I was reflecting for this conversation that I've actually only been employed for 3 years out of a career that's nearly 25 years now. So clearly I'm not into being employed. Like clearly I've got this entrepreneurial spirit. And actually when I look back, I was schooled in this by my mother when I was like 10, 11, 12. She embraced her passion, which is watercolor painting. And she started to paint and paint and paint. So I was around this like beautiful, prolific creativity. And then she started to sell her artwork as cards and prints in these craft fairs, and I would go with her and I would watch people buying this art and being completely delighted by it, and seeing it light them up. And then my mum receiving money, and I was like, oh, this looks cool. And so I started making my own little like Fimo is a kind of plasticine that you bake in the oven. I would make that, and I would sell them for 50p on her stalls, and then people would buy them and give me these 50, and I'd be like, oh, this is fun. I can do stuff with this money. And it was like my creativity. So I think it began then. And it's interesting that you talk about Vedanta as your path, because when I was in my 20s, I discovered yoga and went to do a yoga teacher training, and it opened up my entire everything, and I wasn't raised in any kind of spiritual or religious tradition, but I had this hunger for growth, awakening, to feel more alive, to understand what this mystery of this life is. And so the yoga journey really opened me up, and I became a yoga teacher, and that was like my first business, although I did it incredibly not sustainably, completely burnt out as a yoga teacher,
which is surprisingly common.
Yeah, we have a way of taking these incredible wisdom teachings, and through this like capitalist mindset that so many of us are living in, totally burnt out. And then I think it's because my body was recovering from burnout. I was looking for ways to bring my creativity forward for healing, but also because I couldn't really sustain like a typical job. And then I became a filmmaker, and then it all carried on from there. So it's kind of an interesting mix of a lot of different things, but clearly I don't like being employed, and I want to do my own thing.
And I feel like all women have this innate creativity in them, but it takes a lot of courage to actually commit in a way to just exploring this side of yourself, because the world tells you to be in boxes, and success can only be defined when you are making, X amount of money, or you are in a yacht somewhere enjoying the Caribbean. And I'm always curious to hear how women who have charted their own paths, what conversations are you having with yourself to remind that even though the world is telling you that this direction you're going in isn't going to be successful, or you're not going to make money, but you still do it. So I'm curious to hear, when things get hard, what are the kind of questions you are asking yourself, how you're talking about your own journey to yourself before you ask others for support and direction?
That's such a great question. And I think it's really important to talk about these things, because I think we can feel like lone wolves in business, like that we're on our own. It can feel really lonely. So to know what's going on in our own minds is a great question. I mean, firstly, I'd say that I'm naturally quite weird, as in I've never been interested in that kind of success. It didn't capture me for some reason. I'm so grateful. I smoked a lot of marijuana in college. Like, what was it that? Like, was it the yoga? Like, something opened me up and just made me like see beyond it. And so it's never really called to me, but it's not to say I don't have a lot of internal criticism, because particularly you're a mama now, Pukraj.
Yes.
So in the nursery pickup line or the school pickup line, when mums go, so what do you do? And I try and explain, like, what, you host a podcast about the menstrual cycle, and that's so weird. Or like, what's a business coach? What do you do? And then there's quite a lot in me where I feel shy. I feel like I find it difficult to speak about what I do. And I think that's where it comes out more. So what I've done is I've created my own little universe here, and I've got particularly my women around me, like I call them like my wolf pack, who they get what I'm doing. They're also like equally weird and on their own weird journey. And then, so I'm calling on them all the time. Like it's huge for me. on WhatsApp. I've got several threads with my women, and that's what keeps me moving through all the different like weather fronts that pass through in life as a business owner, for sure.
Yeah. That's such a powerful reminder that, again, women are taught to compete with other women. Again, I remember once I was watching, this was a pandemic thing. I'm not a reality TV person, but during the pandemic, I started watching Selling Sunset on Netflix, and I remember getting a headache watching them because, of course, they look really cool. They have lots of money, da, 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 but they were so mean to each other all the time.
Yeah.
And I just could not understand, like, is this what it takes to be successful in business as women, is to compete and be catty, whereas the conversation with men is often about, like, how did you crack that deal and share your secrets with me, or where are you investing your money? Whereas women are like often portrayed as they're always fighting for the limited opportunity, as it's such a scarce mindset. And so I'm curious to hear when, if ever in your, I'm sure it has happened, but like when this feeling of scarcity or not seeing the abundance of, the world we live in, um, what do you do? What do you do when things feel hard and tough, and you can often put yourself in this like victim mentality of like, it's all happening to me, and this woman is taking away this one job that I wanted, which is, how do you process it all?
You get to the good questions. This is great.
I had to warn you because I will go off script, because I'm like, I'm present and I'll ask you new questions which I had not sent you.
I love it.
I hope
Yeah.
that's okay.
No, I'm loving it. This is great. I'm not used to being on this side. I'm used to being the one asking the questions. Yeah, I mean, what that makes me think of is actually back to that yoga school where I burnt out. So it was run by white European men who had, in my view, taken these wisdom teachings and were using them for their own power and their own ego, which happens in the yoga world a lot. And the patriarchal culture of competition and comparison was really alive. And there were loads of really beautiful women. It was very much a kind of God realm kind of feeling of like everyone walking around in floaty white clothes and dresses. And I was really jealous of these women. So this is my kind of version of it. It wasn't so much like a business cutthroat atmosphere. It was like, oh, I'm not good enough compared to those beautiful women. And I think that was a big part of my burnout, actually. It was like being so immersed in that patriarchal conditioning. And then I pinged totally the other way. I felt allergic to, anything male, to be honest. And I love men now. I'm married to a beautiful man. I have a son, and I have lots of male friends. But at this point in my life, I just needed to like go totally into the world of women. And so I found a teacher called Shamali from the Awakening Women Institute, and she was growing a big women's network. And I became part of the Tree Sisters team. So I was just immersed in these cultures which ran completely counter to this patriarchal, toxic conditioning of competition, where we were all about, navigating the sister wound, you could call it, and learning how to be together as women, learning how to remember the ways that we've had. You spoke to the Indigenous ways. There are so many Indigenous cultures alive now where this is living, but where women support each other, hold each other, champion each other, encourage each other, see each other's strengths. And so I was so blessed to be immersed in those worlds, and still am, for 20 years now, and it's completely shaped who I am and how I move through the world. Like when I meet a woman, it's not that I don't feel jealous sometimes, like we all do, but I immediately look for, okay, she's my sister. We're family. How can I help her? How can I support her? And that's the place I come from now. And now the other world seems weird to me. Like, 'cause I would have the same experience watching Selling Sunset. Like, I tried to watch in the pandemic too. I tried to watch Married at First Sight. And I
Oh, yeah.
couldn't. It's like, they're so mean to each other. I can't do this. Yeah.
And that's that's what media is always showing examples of limited thinking, competition, cattiness. And in my head, I'm like, how are we going to heal out of this if this is what mass media is promoting all the time? This negative, toxic culture. Yesterday, my father called me out because I had written like a post where I was like, I'm fighting the patriarchy, I'm fighting this, I'm fighting that. And he again like practices Vedanta. He's like, the words you use, they have energy. If you're always fighting, what are you growing?
Mm.
And I was just like, oh, great. Deleted the whole post. Never saw the light of day, but it really made me think of business in a way is an opportunity to birth something different, something new for the world. And it it's a it's nerve-wracking because again the business world can feel like very competitive and everyone's fighting for the same resources, but it's also like a different lens of it is looking at it as an opportunity to bring what you value into the world and doing it from a place that it's also nourishing and replenishing for you. So just a little backstory, I did run another brand very similar to your like craft history. I ran a brand which was in the fashion world, and we worked with sustainable artisans in India, or sorry, craftspeople, and created sustainable fashion in India and sold it in Finland. But the way I was running that business was just being like, oh my God, like if someone's not buying from me, I had so much fear that I would run out of money, that I wouldn't find the right collaborators, that I don't. And at some point, I started to even like in my head show up with that energy of like the market sucks and people are not understanding why sustainable fashion matters and why they should like pay more to the artisans because otherwise we're exploiting. And it became very much about fighting the system, whereas trying to be like, I'm building a new way of fashion to exist. So I'm curious to hear in the work that you do as a business coach as well with a lot of women, do you see, because I think also from a marketing angle, which is also your expertise, sometimes we talk so much about the problems we're trying to solve rather than the things we want to birth and the new world that we want to see. So have you seen that show up in how you coach women and how do you support them? I'm curious to hear what perspectives do you offer to them?
It's beautiful to hear your experience. Well, I'm always informed by trees.
Hmm.
So my history has shaped me. I'm just obsessed with trees. And so I don't know if you've come across the work of Suzanne Simard. She wrote this book, Finding the Mother Tree.
I have heard of the book. I haven't read it.
Yeah, so she really blazed a trail in understanding how trees communicate with each other through a mycelial network of fungal mycelial network. And there are these trees, mother trees, that give nutrients out to the other trees to support them. So this is the framework that I always come in with. Like, how can we be mother trees in the ecosystems of our business? It makes me want to cry. Because we aren't on our own. As Vedanta would say, we're utterly and totally interconnected.
Yeah.
So my business and your business are interwoven. They're connected with each other through, like, you could imagine it as a mycelial network. And I'm always looking for, and when I'm coaching women, how can we build those mycelial networks, become more conscious of them? How can we collaborate? How can we get in conversations together like this? How can we communicate with each other's audiences? How can we share generously of the best of our skills and our knowledge? Like, this is foundational to all the marketing that I teach. There's a kind of marketing that's called content marketing.
Mm.
And it's essentially share brilliant stuff that inspires people to want to connect with you.
Yeah.
And I think, especially for women, and especially to counter this competition,
Mm.
thinking of the things that most help your clients and customers and sharing those generously, consistently in your marketing is the best thing we can do. Like some people might say, no, keep the best bits for the people that are coming to work with you. And I just think we should flip that.
Flip it.
Yeah, let people know, let people see what it is that you
Mm.
are offering, and be a mother tree to keep supporting others. We have to do work with our own scarcity stories, our own money blocks that were probably formed in our early life, and also depending on the identities we hold and the heritage we come from, and the kind of upbringing we've had and levels of poverty or privilege. The stories are different, and it's not at all only about our own stories. There are societal factors here and structural oppression going on. But yeah, we have to do that. We have to do that work. You have to do it as a business owner. You have to see, where am I contracting? Where am I constricting? Where can I allow more flow? What do I need to move through in my body? What do I need to heal from with my past? What do I need to forgive in order to have be able to create that flow of being the mother tree and building the ecosystem of relationships around us?
Yeah, that's so beautiful. And it's also surreal because just before this, I was recording a piece for my coaching clients around mycelium network. And we were talking about how, like one tree at the same time isn't feeding the entire forest. It's taking as much and it's giving, but then it's also in a network of other trees that doing their part, and it's a shared responsibility, it's a collective responsibility. And a lot of the women I work with are in the impact sector, who then often carry this weight of like, I have to save the world, I am doing so much. This was also me when I was running my brand. In my head I had such big ambitions, but then it also caused so much stress because I was like, I need to do everything. If I don't work tomorrow, I'm not living up to my values, I'm not showing up for the cause, someone is suffering because I'm not performing. And I'm curious to hear what your take is on this idea of women always like overextending themselves. As women, as founders, it's kind of a trait sadly, the patriarchal wound is that we are always there for others. But how do you look at overextending ourselves, even though we want to be mother trees? How do we hold boundaries to protect our own, energy and our own resources?
Yeah, how do we? I'm with you in the question. It makes me think of, so when I was working at Tree Sisters, I was absolutely doing this. I was like, we will reforest the tropics. This will change climate change. This is like, and I was so given to it. And there's this poem that I still really treasure, actually, that I found earlier on in the Tree Sisters journey. And I'm going to paraphrase it a little bit, but it goes something like, it's 3:23 in the morning and I'm awake because my great-great-grandchildren won't let me sleep. My great-great-grandchildren are asking me in dreams, what did you do once you knew? Like, what did you do when the season, and it gives me shivers all over. Like,
I'm gonna cry.
yeah, and it's by this gorgeous poet and philosopher called Drew Dellinger, who's got a great Substack, actually. Drew Dellinger, wonderful. And I took that poem and I took it in a direction that I don't think Drew intended, which was I essentially use it against myself. It's 3:23 in the morning. My great-great-grandchildren are asking me, what did you do? I've got to do everything from the minute I wake up to the minute I go to sleep. And it again, that was my second burnout. Yeah, we all accumulate these.
It's this weird spiral. We're coming back to it. We're just slightly better equipped, and we're learning our lessons till we actually learn it.
I'm a touch wood. I don't know. I've got menopause coming up next, so we'll see what happens. But I feel like it's not possible for me to burn out again.
Great.
So
Yeah.
I that's what I'm thinking. I'm 44 now, so I've done this a few times. I'm
Yeah.
in my midlife era. You know, I'm feeling I'm still feeling all the drive. Like, I'm still
Yeah.
feeling all, and drive isn't the right word. It's the longing. You know, it's the charge. But I can feel that, like, 40s are such. How old are you, Prakash?
I'm 36.
Okay, for me, 40s are like, it was a bit
After
bumpy
30,
getting
I
into
stopped
the 40s,
counting.
but the
I'm like,
40s are like it. I'm loving them. So
I have heard it's like, it's the true leadership. Like, you don't care about anything. You know what you want. I can't wait to get into my 40s. It's coming. But yeah.
it's feeling good. And I think, you know, on the other side of menopause, it's like next level leadership from what we hear, and
Yes.
moving towards eldership. So lots to come. Like, it's not at all that, like, once we turn 35, life is over. Like, it's only just getting started. So I feel that the thing that's helping me to be clear that I won't burn out is the menstrual cycle work. So I've got
Actually a beautiful tool and a resource for female founders to lean into it. Please talk a bit more, because you're obviously way more knowledgeable about this.
Well, you're carrying your own knowledge too, and we all do. But yeah, I've been tracking my cycle for probably 15 years. So it was when I was a filmmaker that I started. I was getting very, very difficult premenstrual phases. So I didn't know it was a pattern because I hadn't started tracking my cycle, but I would be very angry, very self-hating, very self-critical, even like moving towards anxiety and depression. But it was I could tell it wasn't all the time. I discovered Alexandra Pope's one of her early books, The Woman Quest. And I started to track my cycle, and I realized, okay, this rage and self-hatred and all these like difficult things that were making it hard to work, you know, and I think some women and folks listening will relate to this. I was finding it hard to work in those times, and I tracked, okay, it's around day 23 every month. And I started to learn by following the menstrual cycle teachings, like how to rest more at menstruation, how to ride the summer energy around ovulation, but then start to slow down or listen more to myself in my phase. It was showing me what are the boundaries that you're crossing, what are the needs that you aren't getting met, you know. And so it really showed me that, well, there's this system, like operating system inside us. Oh, I don't like using that term. There's a beautiful natural wisdom inside us. Compass, you know, that is the menstrual cycle. And the reason why I feel like I can't burn out now is because I yield to the call to rest before my period. You know, I can feel it coming in my cycle changing a bit more now, but day 24, 25, 26. And I can't always rest. Like, who can if you've got a 5-year-old and you're full-time working? But I clear my diary as much as I can, and I get into like a mode of rest inside, and I like follow that call inwards, and it replenishes me every month, and then it's like I get to tank up a little bit, and then I get back into the next month. So it's I feel like it's inbuilt in me now. Touch wood. Let's see.
Yes, beautiful. And it's one of the things, how I've started looking at boundaries is like looking at them as living and breathing structures. So you're allowed to change it, because I think, again, the masculine way of looking at a lot of things in leadership is like, if I said it, this is it. Like, I cannot change what I've decided. The way I'm going to do it must be done, even though, let's say, your body is giving you different signs. And I think, again, with menstrual cycle awareness, I'm not great at it, but I've been doing it again for the last 3-4 years. Also postpartum, they went away, so kind of getting back into it now. Is to remember that you, as a woman, you flow, and there's power and wisdom in that flow. And it's, in a way, a practice to contain your power and use it at the right time for the right reasons, and not just, always be overextending and giving, because that, again, doesn't really serve you in the long run. Yeah. So completely resonated with me. I want to also So yesterday I was in your workshop because you're doing a beautiful um, retreat. I was like, what did you call it? Retreat for rewilding your work. And the the title, of course, really attracted me because I'm building my relationship with nature and I'm really leaning on Mother Nature in how I'm going to build my business or this business moving forward. I am curious to hear how does nature show up in your work on a day-to-day basis? Um, what are the different practices? Do you have any rituals that you do that, keep you grounded and be in connection with the forest, with the earth? Um, I'm curious to hear what your own practices are.
Yeah, yeah. So much to say. I feel like starting with dreams, strangely,
Mm,
because I mean, I've got a very woven in relationship with nature. I'm lucky to live by this beautiful river where I get to walk my dog every day in the green trees. I just spent a weekend with my best friend who lives in Barcelona, and there were just so many people everywhere, and it was cool. It was fun, but I was like, wow, you have as many people around you as I have trees around me. I'm like a tree person, so I'm lucky to be very very immersed, even though I live in a city. But what I noticed recently is my dreams started to be filled with an abundance of wild nature.
mhm.
I actually started reading this book, The Dreaming Way, by a woman called Toko Pa, who also has a great Substack. And
Everyone's here. This is a good
yes, it's the place to be. I need to be here. Why am I not here? I've got to get
You need
here.
to come here. Let's do it.
And it's a great book for all women founders, actually, because it's about how much wisdom, intelligence we can receive from our dreams. So as soon as we wake up in the morning, to write the dreams down, to start cultivating a relationship with the dream world, or Toko Pa calls it the eco psyche that we're
Mm,
all connected to when we're dreaming. Anyway, so I started to write my dreams down. I had this very potent one, specifically where I was in a courtroom and there were some characters from the current US administration
wow.
in the courtroom. I was like, oh man, you're in my dreams as well. Like, like I have enough of you on the news. But they were there, white men, middle-aged white men, older white men, and we were fighting against them, me and a group of women. We were in a court case and they were winning. They were going to completely annihilate us. But suddenly the courtroom was filled with women in really brightly coloured clothes, with brightly coloured headdresses, carrying these huge baskets of fruit and these huge bunches of like overflowing bouquets of tropical flowers of all colours. It was just
Wow.
life just burst into the courtroom. And because I'm not really a detail person, I don't know how, but we won the court case because of these women.
That's all we need to know. Also, I can feel the lushness of that visual.
Yeah, it was so lush, and this kept happening in my dreams, just like fruits, vegetables, forests, jungles, life. And I was like, okay, so something's talking to me here, and I want to follow it. So I started to, in my menstrual dreaming time, started to kind of court this feeling that I started to call like the wild creative fool in me. And it started to seed these ideas in me around rewilding marketing, rewilding work. It's not a new term. Obviously, rewilding has been going on with the actual earth for a long time, which is wonderful. But to borrow that concept and apply it to our work. And what I realized is when I'm sitting with women, yes, we talk about marketing strategy and we talk about strategies to make business more sustainable, but really what has helped me over all these years is being in relationship with nature and the little, like you said, the little rituals that I do. A core one being, I spoke about it last night on the workshop, and this again is from my teacher Shamali that I mentioned earlier. I go to the river and I put my feet in the river. Like I take my socks and shoes off. It's cold, but I put my feet in the river and I feel the flow and I say, I lay the fruits of this work at your feet. you know,
Mm.
it's from my yoga practice. You know,
Mhm. The idea
it's
of like
Bhakti yoga.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
The offering your gifts for the service of something larger than you.
Yes, yeah, to life. Like may this benefit all life, and that it takes me out of the overextending,
Mm.
soothes the overwhelm, it quietens the critic. It like if there's imposter syndrome coming up, it just it helps it to melt away. The fear of visibility of being seen. It's like this is in service. It puts me in service. It
Mm.
lines me up. And I just thought, why am I not talking about these things? Because these are the actual things that are helping. Like marketing strategy, yeah, it's good, it's
Yeah.
important. But these are
Yeah.
the actual things that help me make it all happen. So that's why I created this Rewild Your Marketing retreat to help us all have like I have my tree that I go to. That's my like soul tree for my business, or I call it my stability tree for my
Oh,
business.
nice.
You know, I want to like invite women to cultivate their own relationship, or like making an altar for
Mm.
your work, just taking, you know, the beautiful leaves or blossoms, like taking a
Mm.
look at it, putting it on your desk to remember, oh, I'm part of something. It
Mm.
isn't just me. I'm woven into all of it, and it's feeding me, and I'm feeding it. Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. This is making me want to question, like, what do you do in winter? And I ask this because I'm from India, but I live in Finland. And right now, this is like, I'm sitting outside because it's so dark in winter and it's so cold. And I just feel a bit disconnected with even wanting to be outside because I grew up in, summer all year long. So, as someone who's born in slightly colder climates, I'm curious to hear, what do you do in winter? How do you build a relationship with the forest or with earth in the winter? Such a random question, but I want
No, it's meaningful. It's good, and I feel for you because I imagine Finnish winters are more fierce than
very fierce. Yes.
yeah. So you know, and you're a sun baby. You
I'm
want to
a
be in the
sun baby,
sun.
and I've started to love it, like, especially when snow falls. I love it because I never grew up with snow. So I still like my friends here, I think, still, hopefully. But I remember I was with her the first time I saw snow. And I couldn't believe. And I kept saying, it's falling from the sky. And they were like, where else does it come from? It's like, I don't know. It's coming from the sky. So I still have a beautiful relationship with snow, but just the darkness and
Oh,
then
the
all the
dark.
leaves falling off, I feel like I also, have lost all my zeal for life in winter. So I'm curious, yeah, how do
Well,
you
I'm
look
going
at
to
it?
take us into the dark then. I'm going to take us into the dark. Is that okay? We're going to go
Yes.
because I'm going to go to the infertility
Yeah.
years.
Hmm.
So this was like my big initiation into winter. Actually, my chronic illness after the burnout was the first initiation. Like life put me into a multi-year winter where I had very little energy and was dealing with a lot of health problems all the time. So
Hmm.
I was like apprenticed in winter, but then I was trying to get pregnant. 1 year, 2 years, we get into the third year. I'm 38 at this point, so I was like, wow, this biological clock is real. And you know, the feminist in me doesn't want to be defined by my biology. But the
Hmm.
truth of the matter is, like, we are defined by our biology when we want to have children. At a certain point, obviously, there are possibilities, and lots of people have kids when they're older, but there's anyway.
Hmm.
Um, and I was so sad. Like every time I had my cycle, I was on the floor basically. Like it's hard to remember back, but I was struggling so much. And we decided, my husband and I decided to go to the furthest, most darkest place we could imagine, which was the Outer Hebrides in the north of Scotland. So it's these islands way off the north coast of Scotland. Because it was Christmas and families were getting together and kids were together. And, you know, as someone who's had fertility challenges, you might have not been bitter like me, but I found it really hard to be around
Hmm.
families at that point. So we went away, way, way. So this Isle of Lewis, which is wild, kind of barren, incredible landscape, huge rocks, white beaches, huge waves, dark skies. And it's only light from about 10:30 a.m. until about 2:30 p.m. and then
Hmm.
dark for the whole rest of the time.
Sounds like Finland.
Yes. Okay, you'll be experiencing this in Finland.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's my reality these winters. But yeah.
But I think something got worked in me, and I think this
Mm.
is probably from menstrual cycle awareness practice too, of descending into the menstruation in a winter time. But I found the gifts of being in the
Mm.
dark, and how restful it is, how restorative it is, how much there is inside us when we turn in, and
Mm.
just the power of like lighting a fire. Like, have you got a fire? Have you got a fire? Like a
No, we're in an apartment. I keep romanticizing having a cottage. It's
yes,
like have a little fire, like, but yeah, it hasn't happened yet. It will happen. I will make
yeah,
it happen.
yeah. If you can make a wood stove happen, I think that's a game changer for like these long. Yeah, curled up by the stove with my dog, reading, crafting. I say crafting, I don't really craft, but like I might do some drawing. That's
Yeah.
more my crafting thing. I wish I crafted, but and then in terms of for business and creativity, it's that like, well, I heard a woman called Charlotte Friedrich, another great woman who's in this field, talk about the fertile dark. Actually yielding, surrendering into that fertile dark and seeing what it wants to bring us. There's so much there. So that's how winters go for me. I took that somewhere unexpected.
Yeah. No, but thank you for sharing it. First of all, having gone through something similar, like it is really dark to be in that moment in life where you want something dearly and it's not happening, and it really puts things into perspective of what we truly desire from life, what's really important, and how we have been conditioned to want different things. And again, not everyone needs to become a mom. It might mean something else, but it's like really puts things into perspective when you want something and there's no way you can have it, or it's being harder to access it. But then there's also beauty and lesson and wisdom in it, to take a moment and be like, wow, all my life I maybe resisted this idea, and now when I want it, it's not accessible. So it's also an encouragement to just go after what you want now rather than wait for it to happen later. Because I now look at, for me, my burnout journey, my infertility journey, like that has in a way sparked this I don't know what the word is, but like this thing in me that I am like, okay, if I want it, I just go for it. No, like I'm not going to wait till the conditions are perfect, till everything looks, how it should, and only then act, but just start. Just let yourself not carry the weight of perfectionism that a lot of female founders that I work with carry as well.
And don't you think that's one of the gifts of motherhood, like being a working mum? Like,
Yeah.
there's no time to procrastinate. There's
Yeah.
no time to doubt yourself.
Hmm.
There's like, okay, I have this hour. I must make the
Yes.
most of this hour. I'm going to do this, 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 and the things you can do in an hour. Like, I'm like, what did I do with all my time before? Yeah,
I keep wondering. I was so stressed, and now I'm like, I have 1 hour. Someone's watching while the baby naps. I'm gonna go outside, do this life, and then I'm back being mom.
Yeah.
And it's a gift. Like it's again perspective, I guess, that you just see what truly is the most valuable, but at the same time, organizing your days, your times in a way that you're still living up to your bigger goals for life and bigger visions and bigger missions for life, but you're not carrying all the weight yourself. You know that you're part of a larger ecosystem, you're part of a larger network. Till everyone's doing their part and you're connected with the wider web, you feel like you're part of a uh, bigger reality. Okay. I'm running out of questions, but I am loving this. Thank you for, just sharing and having this it is unfiltered. I called it unfiltered because I was like, I just want to chat. I want to chat with women. I want to hear the different founder journeys women have gone through, not from like, here are all the credentials, here are all the awards I won, this is what how much money I've made or how many people I've impacted, but more the journey within that you've gone through. So I will open it up to you. Is there anything that you feel like someone who is a woman, a founder, who obviously is carrying a lot of dreams on her shoulders, um, but is either one scared to commit or is committed so much is now starting to like be at the verge of burnout? Do you have any words of advice, any wisdom that you would like to share that you have accumulated over your own journey?
Great question. Yes. I'm like, which one? What should we go? But I feel like speaking about the seasons of business and the seasons of creativity
Yes.
is always helpful to have that framework. And it really changed things for me. Again, I apprenticed in this when I was as part of the Tree Sisters team. Our director of operations, Edwige Fairchild, she guided us as an organization to work with the seasons of nature. So I come from a part of the world where there's 4 seasons.
Mm.
And we began to plan our big annual campaign, like vision into it in winter,
Mm.
plan it in spring, build it in summer, and launch it and harvest in the autumn.
Mm.
So I got to, and we did this many years in a row. So I got to really feel this rhythm of embracing the different qualities and capacities and possibilities in the different phases.
Yeah.
And I think we can apply this seasonal mindset, or maybe if you don't live in a part of the world where there are 4 seasons, like you can think of it like the lunar cycle, the dark moon, the waxing moon, the full moon, and then the
Full
wane.
moon, new
Yeah,
moon. Yes. Yeah.
yeah. But for many years, I was in the spring of my business journey. So there's very different things that are needed in the spring. You're
Mm.
building, you're growing, you're building foundations, you're building relationships, you're figuring out who you are and what you're about, what your
Mm.
offers are, how they speak to people, which ones
Yeah.
work, which ones don't. There's a lot of experimentation. There's
Yeah.
more risk. There's a lot of failure that you
Mm.
have to learn to tolerate.
Mm.
The world isn't necessarily giving you that much positive feedback yet, so you have to become your own,
Yeah. Find that
robust.
resilience. Yes,
Yes,
absolutely.
find that resilience, and it's tender and it's vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
This is mostly the women that I work with. We're mostly in this season
Yeah.
in spring, getting things moving.
Mm.
Now I'm like, oh, now I'm very much in the summer of
Yeah.
business. So, and probably for 2 or 3 years now, but I'm simultaneously in the spring of motherhood, so that's interesting. Like my
Mm.
life as a working mum, I'm so still trying to figure that one out. Like,
Yeah.
whoa, it changes all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, in the summer of business, when everything is in flow, and everything's moving and working, and it's more about how to, yes, have the energy to be able to show up in the way that you need
Yeah.
to be able to sustain the charge of it all moving through you and all the different ideas, and to have systems and boundaries in place that allow your energy to be used well.
Yeah.
But then also to recognize that there's probably going to be an autumn or a waning moon phase
Mm.
where things don't work so well. Like
Yeah.
your passion for it changes. Something in you is composting, wanting
Yeah.
to die, go into a winter so something new can be birthed. And actually, like, being able to hear those signs. And I'm often working with women in this phase too, like, it's not working anymore, I don't want to do it anymore. And actually
Mm.
being able to yield to that composting, to go
Yeah.
into winter so that something new can be birthed. I
Yeah.
think that's a framework that can support us so much. And oh, have I lost you? I think the technology might have fallen away here. Maybe I'll just keep riffing until Fukash comes back. For those of you that can hear, yeah, I mean, I just think that this is a framework that is little known and seen, and when it's embraced, it can really support us to make sense of. I just carried on riffing, Pukraj. I hope that's okay. Oh, have I lost you?
That's okay. That's okay. Because I was just like, why did I still have battery, but I guess my laptop got overheated in the sun. Sorry. Continue.
Yes. No, that's okay. Yeah, I was just saying, like, it makes sense of the things that can make us feel like we're crazy. Like in the spring phase, there can be so much doubt and questioning and, oh good, Christine can still hear. Imposter syndrome, like who do I think I am? Feeling like a fraud because you're not established yet in your business, but you're putting offers out there. And if you recognize that it's the spring phase, that you're like a snowdrop finding its way out of the snow in just coming out of winter into spring, and that you're tender and you need to protect your creativity and you need to try things and to see if they work, that it can make sense of some of the craziness that we can experience. I reckon what's happened then is Pucharaj's computer got too hot in that gorgeous sun and it's just shut down. Yes, these are the challenges of technology. I wonder if anyone's got any questions that's listening. Maybe you could write them in the chat. Hey, I was just asking to see if anyone had questions that they wanted to ask in the who's watching and listening.
I mean, there's some people, but yeah, okay, I missed that, but thank you for continuing to hold space. And of course, yeah, if anyone has any questions, please put that in the chat. But yeah, you were talking about, the cyclical ways of even looking at your creativity and looking at seasons as an anchor. And I've been doing that a lot in my work nowadays as well. And it's really, really helpful.
Yeah, I think it can make sense of the, like, in a world, like the voices that we hear in our own minds telling us, like, you're a fraud because you're putting yourself out there, but you're not quite yet established in spring, for example. It helps to give us a bigger container and a perspective for those kind of all the like niggly inner critic stuff that comes up in business.
Yeah. And something that I tell, like, at least like the women I work with, is even if you feel like you're not the next this thing, you are like 3 steps more informed than someone who's just starting out. So why not share your wisdom and your value and your gifts with the world? Like, because if you try to know everything and only then speak up, it's going to be much harder to show up and express yourself. One of the comments is just, this term composting is something I can relate to. Never thought about it like that beforehand. So I think I missed that, but that's for you, Sophie. This idea of composting has resonated with the women listening.
Yes. There's a great question too. Hi, how do you convince yourself to put your thoughts to rest and tell it we can pick it up next day instead of being obsessed and doing it right now? That is such a good question.
Such a good question, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in a real edge with this at the moment because I'm in the summer of the business. There's always things to do. There's a million ideas pouring through me, and I'm also launching something. So like there's a lot going on, and I just clocked how unhealthy my relationship has got with my phone. And I know a lot of us have unhealthy relationships with our phones. Like they're very addictive, very, very addictive. But I'm working with it now actively, and I'm not calling it my phone at the moment. I'm calling it my tool. It's a tool because I've got this, like, I need to look at it. I need to see who's getting in touch with me. I need to, like, someone might have emailed me, and it's like, cool. So they might, but you can read it later. Like it's like fine. So I think my answer to that question would be like, what's the relationship with technology, and what's your relationship with stillness and being able to stop and be, especially as a working parent. I think it can be super hard because there's a lot of momentum. You
have only that much time where you feel like I'm executing at that time, but then you are thinking about it all the time. Something that I also have started to tell myself is it's just an indication that you really care about what you have to say and what you have to bring to the world. But if you were caring for someone you love, you would remind them to rest. So why not remind yourself to also take a break? Because again, this idea of wintering is when a lot of new information comes through. You're making space for insights and creative things to come through. So it's good. You're showing that you really are committed and you care about what you have to do in this world. But showing yourself grace is equally kind.
And this is like kind of opening up a whole new topic, Pookraj, which I hope is okay. But
Yes.
I think I've been working a lot with the idea of the different parts of us that come up in business. So there's the IFS, internal family systems model, but I'm more working with voice dialogue and a practice called Falling, which is taught by my friend Christy Animas, who isn't on Substack but should be.
And bring her up.
So what I've been playing with is like, okay, there is a part of me, so to speak to mag people who ask that question, there's a part of me that is never off, that is always on, always thinking about the business. She is go, 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 all the ideas, but it's just a part of me. There's another part that's really tired and that really needs to rest, and like cultivating my capacity to witness those different parts of me, to give them what they need, but also say, hey, I need you to step aside now because this one needs rest. That's one of my big go-tos as well. Like, hey, like A-type personality, executive assistant part, like you need to chill now. It's 10 o'clock at night and it is time to sleep. So so that's something else that I'm working with too.
Yeah. And mindfulness practices, for me, they help. Like I do a lot of journaling now. I used to meditate, but like it's hard now with the baby, but like just journaling, like getting my thoughts out, because I also am the kind of person that if I'm thinking, I can be in that spiral for a long time. And I need to either speak with someone I respect and I trust, or I need to journal and vomit it all on paper so that it's like I have let go and I am not sitting with the same questions and analyzing it from like every single angle that it can possibly be analyzed in.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I am sure I have so many questions that I want to ask, but this was absolutely like an honor to spend this hour with you. I know as a new mom, it's a lot, and you're also, as you said, in your spring of motherhood. So thank you for taking the time out. I was going to do this in the beginning, which obviously I forgot because I was too excited to get into it. But I'm going to do it now. I'm going to do a rapid fire at the end, which I thought was it would be a fun way to close this conversation. So I have a few questions, and you just, you one word or a few sentences, whatever you would like to share. So the first question is, what's your current life season? You talked about your business being in summer, but life season, where you are, and in one sentence, why that season? Winter, autumn, summer, spring.
Life, autumn, perimenopause.
Nice. And gifts to come. Okay. The element you're most connected with right now and why? So earth, water, fire, air, ether.
Water, because of my river. Like she's my creative best mate. Yeah.
Beautiful. Your go-to medicinal herb or plant ally?
I'm working with calendula at the moment for some health stuff. It's beautiful. Yeah.
Beautiful. Your favorite fruit?
Strawberries are so good right now. Like it's strawberry season here.
Yes, it is. Amazing. One word to describe your relationship with nature.
The word that comes is mother.
Yes, the mother tree continues. And one last question is, one thing that made you belly laugh recently?
My son all the time. Yesterday he found lots of rocks by the river and was pretending to sharpen an axe head and got like basically covered head to toe in mud, and that made me belly laugh out loud. Yes.
That's so
I live with a wild child.
Yes. I mean, wild mothers raise wild children. So I am so excited that we got to, have this chat, and I'm sure we will continue to find ways to support each other. As you said, we're now in each other's mycelium network, and I absolutely love what you're doing. I will also write down all the books and everything that you shared and the other Substack creators in the notes later. But thank you so, so much. Have a lovely midweek and lovely weekend ahead. And yeah, appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me. I've loved this, and like so much love for everything that you're creating here. It's gorgeous, and I'm totally 100% behind you. Yeah,
Amazing.
well done. Mwah.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.